Hi guys, I'm Faye,
And I'm Kit.
and welcome back to the channel.
So hi guys, we are going to be doing a new segment which we're calling hashtag discussions, and today we're going to be discussing characters. Characters from a book. Okay.
Shall I do the rest of the video like this?
Yes. Well, I'm currently reading a Jack Reacher book. He's a great character for being your very macho, stereotypical ex-army hero.
I mean, stereotypes work for stuff.
Or
So detailed.
Stereotypes work for things. I'm trying to think what else I've read recently. I'm reading his series, so it's difficult. Jack Reacher's on my brain.
Didn't
they what?
My video's being laggy.
I'm gonna sneeze. Yes, they made 2 movies. Jack Reacher. Excuse me, but there are 26 books.
Wait, 26 books?
Yeah.
Now.
I'm on book 4 of 26. I have a long way to go. What have you been reading recently?
Nothing, I don't read. No, to be fair, I did recently watch Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
Is it good?
I enjoyed it. To be honest, I recognised the title of this. And I saw some other people on BookTube they did a Reachathon or something like that, which is where they read all 3 of the books back to back. And Shadow and Bone's the first one.
I by accident own there's the Shadow and Bone trilogy, then there's the 2 in the middle, then there's the 2 most recent ones, and I own the 2 in the middle because I picked them up at a charity store.
You just say trilogy.
Trilogy.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't like the main character.
Do we ever?
Not a lot of the time, actually.
Exactly. Very rarely do I sit and go, my favourite character is the main character. It's usually the weird side character that's in it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I love him.
I love the creepy side character.
Always a good one.
And the best friend. Best friend in Shadow and Bone, Mal. I was like, I love him. And she's just being a bitch.
It's always the way, isn't it?
No, it was good. Are there actually any main characters that you like?
I want to say Percy Jackson, but I like him, but he's not my favourite character. No, there's not.
I'm trying to think. Even I love Alice in Wonderland, but sometimes I'm just thinking she's annoying as hell.
Yeah, I mean, my favourite book series is the Charlie Parker book series by John Connolly. And I was like, oh, I really like Charlie Parker. And I was like, no, but I read it for Luis, the gay hitman.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
So, Charlie Parker's all right, but he's not the reason I read the books. So, yeah, no, I don't think there is a main character that is my favourite character.
So that's so weird. I mean, to be honest, even in the books that I'm writing, I don't love the main character.
Yeah, I started off with making the person the main character because I really like their character, and as I've developed and written them, I'm like, actually I prefer this person now, and I've noticed them creeping to the forefront, and it's well,
I mean, I think it's got to be because the main character's there to drive the plot, essentially. So they can't. Well, they can be fun, but they can't be as fun as other characters, I guess.
Yeah, I'm genuinely gobsmacked that I don't have. There's not. They're my favourite character. I thought there would be at least one, and I was wrong.
Well, There's the first bit of advice: don't have a main character.
Don't have a main character.
Just
Or
have a lot of side characters.
Although the ones that kind of have the main group, but then there's always one that's always like the main person, isn't it?
Yeah, there's always one that's the leader.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings, they're a group, but the leader is technically Frodo, because he's the one who's
Many problems. Many problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favourite type of character? So other than like the creepy side character, like for example, I really like the blah blah blah.
The sarcastic best friend.
So you.
Yeah. I relate to them and I don't know why.
No, I wonder.
I mean, yours is always the flamboyant one.
Yeah.
Or the bromance.
Yeah. Although I love the flamboyant ones, but I wouldn't say I'm a particularly flamboyant person.
I mean, from knowing you, for the amount of time that I have known you, which is too many years now.
Thank you.
I would say you're not flamboyant, but you've got a flamboyant personality.
Thank you. I will take that. Yes, I do. Do love the flamboyant ones, which is probably why I love the gay hitman from the Charlie Parker series.
And murder, so.
Yes, two great things. Have you ever played, I think it's Dragon Quest?
Rings a bell.
In number 11, my brother plays it. There's a character, what's his name? Sylvando, and he like goes off on his own. There's a side quest and he comes back with this huge like gay parade, and I just love him. He's so great. He wears like feather boas and stuff, and I'm like, yes, you are exactly what I want from my life.
Oh my god. No, see, right, we need to get back onto our Dragon Age gaming.
We do.
Because there's a character that I know is going to be your favourite.
Okay.
I think you're going to love him. I mean, them.
Let's be honest, my favourite is usually a guy. It's usually the gay guy in the corner who's
To
doing
be fair, most of the characters in Dragon Age are guys.
This is true.
In Origins, at least. Do you know what? Speaking of, though, I know that this is meant to be about writing and characters and writing, but you know I'm playing this game called Outriders. I actually really like the main character.
Hey,
I hate all the side characters.
What is the main character?
So you play as the main character, but it's like in the cutscenes and that, and they've done like voice acting in it, and the main character is just sassy, and I love it.
Oh, there you go. That's why you love him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, who doesn't love? Literally, tell me someone who doesn't love a sassy side character. Okay, honestly, as well, I'd like to know if people have a main character who's their favourite.
Yeah, I would really love that, because I genuinely can't think of a single
main character that I like best.
Not even
the one
from like movies or games or anything like that. Like I literally cannot think of one.
Literally have one that comes closest, which is Aang from Avatar. I had to put that in there.
I really like. Is it Sokka, the brother?
Yeah. This is what I mean. So Aang comes close to being my favourite, but Toph is my favourite.
Well, this is like me and Percy Jackson. I really like Percy Jackson, but then Luke Costello, who's like the good guy, but he's sarcastic, and then he becomes a bad guy. And
the goat one?
No, that's
clearly I'm so well versed in Percy Jackson.
Luke Costello is the son of Hermes.
How do you think you can make like 3D characters? That's like the best way I can describe it.
3D characters. They've got to have an interesting backstory without it being like so interesting that it's obviously made to be interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but also how are you putting forward these backstories without info dump?
And then they were born, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened.
Your favourite one?
Well, going back to Jack Reacher, because I've just read a chunk of his backstory, is he does it quite often. It's characters that overlap. So the heroine in this story is like the daughter of his old CO. So it's like through her, he's remembering his time in the military.
Does it end on like flashbacks?
Not so much, not like clear cut flashbacks, more like musings about the past, if you know what I mean. I find the way they do it interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best way to do it, but it's a way I've not seen before.
Fair enough. Kind of reminds me of David from the Atlantis gene.
Hey.
Basically, he's basically the same as Jack Reacher, I guess. He's like the big military guy. But then, so obviously, I've talked about it enough, but obviously the Atlantis gene has multiple points of view. And when they start to converge, I guess that's when you like want to bring in your character arcs, which is what they do. So he starts off being like the tough guy, the military guy who like just goes around shooting people. Spoiler alert. And then obviously he meets the other characters, and you know what I always find is when male and female characters come together is when you kind of get the more yin yang kind of dynamic. So the girls become more not masculine, but less dainty. The guys become more caring, and they're like, I have feelings.
Yeah, they open up and the women toughen up. Yeah, I agree with that. Although I must say that I prefer that to when the women spend the entire book / film or whatever just being like, oh, rescue me, I can't do it without you. And I'm just like, I will punt you off a building.
Honestly. It's like, oh, I hate damsels.
I can't do it. If you start as a damsel and then adapt and then become like a badass at the end, I'm on board with that. If you start a damsel and end a damsel, you've achieved nothing. Apart from maybe snared yourself a man, and it's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the only damsel I'm actually down for is Megara.
Yep.
Megara, I've heard.
Is she really a damsel?
I mean, kind of.
To be rescued, but then also she's got the attitude of a badass, and she's on her way.
Exactly, my kind of damsel.
Fair enough. I will allow that.
Then this one will root back to the fact that we're not really a fan of romance.
Well, yeah, big time.
Damsel comes in, doesn't it?
Romance, and also I find really, really masculine, like crime and thrillers. Like there was one. I can't remember the name of the book or the character, but it was written by Scott Mariani, I think it is, and his character just spent the entire time being like, this woman can't protect herself, so I'll do it for her. And there was like no opportunity for like the woman in the story to even like get a chance. And I was like, well,
literally, it's so weird. It's like Altered Carbon. So let's go slightly off topic, but with you can kind of tell that it's written by a man because the men are men. They're like army guys, and they're like, they'll beat each other up and stuff. And then the girls, even though he tries to make them tough because of like it's sci-fi. Everyone's kind of sci-fi. Just the way that he describes them is like talks about the breath. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'd accept it more if they were referred to as fun bags, but okay.
One thing that I dislike actually about the way Lee Child writes women is whenever he and Jack Reacher is intimate with a woman, it's always, and they've made love. And I'm like, how many times do they actually make love? Like, just call it sex. It's fine.
Yeah, like, also, if it's a bunch of random women, I doubt they're in love. This is
what I mean by it's very James Bond. It's a different heroine in every book. And in every book, as with
So
James Joyce, he
sorry.
gets some. And I'm like, I'm sorry, he's not going to be in love with every woman he comes across.
Do you know what as well? Stereotypes with a twist. One that I like.
Okay.
So
You do or you don't like?
I do like.
Do like. Okay, go for it.
Stereotypes that are just stereotypes. No, thank you. Stereotypes with a twist I like. So say you've got, this is one that I like that they do in like crime thriller kind of stuff, where they have like the manly man, you know, your Jack Reacher, James Bond characters, but as what are all the letters? LGBTQ plus child. So they're all like tough and military and stuff, and then they're like with their kid and they're like all hashtag pride, like, and it's fabulous.
Yes. I just really love like any tough guy character that is revealed that they're, I don't know, like
you know, has emotions.
Butler from Artemis Fowl, who loves to bake. He's a bodyguard, he's big, he's massive, he's angry, but he like bakes cupcakes in his spare time. And I'm like,
oh my god,
yes, on board with this. What do you want?
Tigger man.
He's like, want to be part of this.
But yeah, it's like that scene in Tangled where they go to the Snuggly Duckling.
Yes, and the little stink.
And they're all these big broody guys, and then they all like to bake and paint and play piano. I mean, they're not like
period design and all of that lot.
Not like feminine kind of activities, but it's just not what you'd expect. I mean, it's the same with like on the opposite scale. I don't know how to word this like easy, so I'm just gonna say how it is. The girly girl, one who's always in like frilly dresses and that, who is like a black belt in taekwondo or something.
Yes, love that.
Yes, can kick, but I'm like, yes, girl.
It's like the Scooby-Doo live action movies with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. Where Daphne is the little frilly girl who always wears pink and then suddenly kicks out martial arts, and you're like, what? Where did that come from?
Just saying.
Soz. It's been a while.
It's not acceptable, to be honest.
It's been a while.
So, just on the topic of characters, might as well talk about it. Our books.
Yeah.
So, in my one, who would be your favourite character and why?
This is really embarrassing because I've forgotten her name. The necromancer.
Tatiana.
Yes, because towards the end of the book, she's just like, I'm surrounded by idiots. I'm the only one with a plan. Nobody is paying any attention. I hate you all. Just listen to me and do as you're told. And I'm like, thank God you needed somebody to come in and do it. And I'm just like, she's not in it a huge amount, but she kind of just like turns up at the key moments and just goes, look, you're all being twats. This is what we do. This is how we solve the problem. And I'm like, thank you. She is my fave. I also really enjoy Kaya. Also really enjoy Kaya because she is the most sarcastic character I think I've read in a long time.
Kaya's like my child.
Kaya is like reading you. And we've had the conversation before about your main character being my favourite.
Sorry, ignore my hiccups. Wait, you like Amelia?
No, I said not my fave.
Oh yeah, I mean she's not my fave either.
It's like I really want to like her because she's the main character. I know you put so much time into her as like from I know the author's point of view, but at the same time I'm just like she's really whiny.
Oh yeah, but this is the thing, like she is what I would consider to I mean, yeah, she's whiny, but imagine her situation. So
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, what she goes through, I'd probably be whiny too.
yeah, her responses annoy me, but at the same time seem legit for the situation. Like, I don't think she's overreacting.
No, not by any sense of the imagination.
Yeah, I wouldn't react like, well, I don't know how I'd react. I'm not ever in that situation.
This is exactly it. I'm like, oh, well, I would never do that. I would just get over it. And I'm like, 100% if I was put in that situation, I'd just sit curl up on the floor and cry. And it would be like, at least she's doing something.
Yeah. But this is what I was saying earlier about like main characters. Obviously, because I'm the best author and I know what I'm talking about.
Obviously.
But like, they're not your favourite because they have to go through stuff. Well, they don't have to, but most things you'll find that your main character goes through a whole lot of poop for the story to progress and be interesting. Again, that's me self-proclaiming that.
No, I agree. It's difficult to kind of have them short of like a crime. I guess they still go through shit as a crime, like they're still going to get shot at and things, but they're not the main character that stuff is happening to. But the victim is kind of sidelined a lot of the time in that sort of thing.
Oh.
That's the only. But most of the time, especially in your sort of book, the main character is the victim, if that makes sense. Like everything is happening to her.
Like you'll find in I watched a different AuthorTube video about this a while ago. You'll find in fantasy, sci-fi, pretty much any sort of YA, whether that's rude, any sort of like YA, maybe no adult even, where I mean, also anything Disney, right? The main character will only have one parent or less because you have to kill the parents so the kids can go on the adventure.
I'm going to be honest and say I have done this in my book, Souls Guys. It's like falling into the stereotype. I'm just like, how can I explain that the parents aren't around? They're just dead. They're just not here. It's easier. I think I made one of them like an alcoholic so that it was like somebody had a parent. But I'm like, I need this group of people to do this thing and they can't do it. The parents are looking over their shoulder.
Yes, after I watched that video, because I'd already was like halfway through my first fantasy book, and I was like, well, already happened, so
Souls, yeah.
Anyway, but with my series that I'm trying to work through, I'm purposely trying to keep the main character's parents alive, but I need to think of a way to explain her disappearance and them not looking.
Yeah. That's why it's so much easier just to kill the parents.
Yeah. I mean, I could just be like, because magic.
They never knew she was gone.
I'm not going to have an idea of what I want to do.
Of the 2 chapters you've read of my book, do you have a favourite character?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what her name is. I don't think it's Layla. The other
There's only
girl.
2 girls in the group, so it must be Stella.
Because she seems badass so far. She's like, follow me, guys. I know where I'm going. I've studied the cave. I like Stella. I don't like the guy leader.
Avery.
Yeah.
I didn't think you would.
Yeah.
Ilya.
Also, I like, is his name Angel?
There is an angel, yes.
Yeah, he's alright. I mean, it's a weird mix. And obviously I've got to see where it's going. Because I only know those characters. But speaking of, like, with groups, because this is what I'm finding with my series at the minute. I feel like there's kind of too many characters. But also, like, in the long run, it will be worth it because of, bouncing off each other, different personalities mixing with different personalities.
Yours or mine? Because we both have groups.
Both.
Yep.
Just groups in general I'm talking about.
Agreed. Yep.
But Oh my god, are they hard to write?
Yes, 100%. I really struggled with the chapters where the group comes back together and I have 6 characters to write, especially when they're interacting with other characters. So in my book, I've got the main group, and then I've got like the sheriff, and then a couple of other like characters to interact with them. And if you've got like the whole group having a conversation with the sheriff, for example, you've got to try and get 6 people's different points of views and the way they talk and like the things they're going to bring up, and with this other person. And I'm just like, I just need some of you to fuck off. Excuse me, some of you to leave.
Oh yeah, because that's the first time we've sworn. Like past that point.
Just want them to leave so that it's easier. And I do find, and you'll probably pull me up on it later for the chapters, I found that I'm having a conversation between the 6 of them, but there's 1 or 2 characters that literally just sit there and listen because I'm not sure how to get their point of view in. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. You just need to sit on the sideline for this moment.
Yeah. Also, I find that I struggle with like groups. Like I had it with writing in The Last Night. I might as well just say the working title. Fuck. Anyway, with The Last Night, when they were having like group conversations, it's hard to. I found it hard to pace them, like because you want like a group conversation goes quicker, but because you've got to kind of stop and tell you who's talking. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it slows it down so much. And I'm like,
yeah, if you have 2 people, you can kind of like skip the he said, she said, da da da, because it flows.
Yeah.
Who's next in the timeline. But yeah, it's difficult with a group. The other thing I found difficult in writing a group is that certain people of the group have that information, and you kind of, or I found that I forgot that not everybody has that information, or I feel like I'm repeating myself when they're telling that person the information. And my problem is the book I'm writing on the moment technically has 3 storylines that all converge later on, or which have overlapping information that I have to try and not repeat, but also make sure that everybody knows, which is turning out to be chaos.
I could tell you why that is, but you won't like it.
Tell me.
Because you're a pantser.
Wow.
This is where I want to get to. I'm just gonna go, and then you're like, oh my god.
What have I done? Yeah.
It's like men when they get IKEA furniture and they go, I don't need the instructions.
In this situation, I am men. 100%. I got so excited to start, I didn't stop to think about how. And also, I think in one of our previous videos, I said something like, oh, it's going to be 27 chapters long. And I'm on chapter 25, and there's absolutely no way it's going to end in 2 chapters. In fact, I'm thinking it's going to have to turn into 2 books because there's still so much in my head that I need to get down on paper. And I know I've asked you to, like, as you read it, cut bits out and shorten it. But there's too much there, I think.
Well, I've already got rid of like half of chapter 1, so.
Yes, this is true.
I haven't got rid of it, but yeah.
It needs adjusting, I know.
Distribution. This is what I was saying about the difference between our writing styles. Is obviously you like, because I plan so much, it takes me ages to plan, and then when I eventually get to writing it, I'm really slow at writing it. Whereas you're quite quick at writing it, but then you put all the information down in the story as you go, then that's going to need to be taken out and redistributed along. And then I'm going to have to go back and be like, oh my god, they're just stood in an empty room right now. But the story's happening.
Yeah, there's stuff going on. Yeah, I definitely over-describe. And I think 100% have had a conversation and then had like a thought process where it's the exact same thing as happening in the conversation. But it's like, this needs to happen here, so we're just going to repeat it and I'll deal with it later.
Yeah. I mean, this is when we'll have to do a video when we're like both at the kind of editing stage. We'll have to be like, oh my
god, what have we done?
I mean, to be honest, I think this is a good place to like finish off, is we're both, I mean, yeah, we'd like to eventually get to the point where we can publish and put the books out. But at the minute, it's just doing something we like doing. So yeah. you have to hit these deadlines because stress.
Yeah, I had this conversation with somebody the other day of like, when I first started writing, I wrote because I wanted to publish something, whether it was this or something else.
Hang on a second. How dare you speak to other people about your writing?
Writing, how dare I? Sidelining your upset.
Anyway.
So I was saying that it's always been like, since I was little, as I've always wanted to publish something, whether it was like this or something else. But through like writing something with the idea of publishing, I've actually found that I really enjoy the writing process, and I'm not so bothered about the publishing anymore. I'm just enjoying working on it.
I mean, yeah, even if just you guys read my book, I'm like, nice, I did it.
And then I'm always like, yeah, maybe one day I'll make loads of money from selling loads of books, and I'll buy a house with it. Realistically, if I sold like 10 copies, I'd be over the moon. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm famous.
See, I was saying the other day about, I can't remember what I was talking to, about like dream job. It's like, I mean, here's how I've planned out my future. Obviously, I'm going to publish all my books. They're going to be bestsellers. Then Netflix are going to pick them up for a series.
Okay.
I'm going to be famous, get to meet all these actors, but not so famous that people want to come bother me. Like famous enough that certain people know who I am.
Fair enough. Very different to my future.
Obviously, that is like the dream, and that probably will not happen. But goals, right?
See, my dream, like my top thing, is like nursing part-time, running like writing, maybe doing some editing, like just having like a nice little something to do when I don't have to work, and like being financially stable. And there's you like movie stars and famous, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm aiming a bit low.
Oh yeah, I'm also, you guys referred to me as Miss Extra, so I mean, what was you expecting?
This is true.
I'm like, I'm gonna meet all the movie stars.
I'm
One day I'll marry Sebastian Stan. It'll be great. When he stars as a leading character in one of my book films.
Somebody needs to warn him. I'm in for you, Sebastian. She's coming, if you want it or not.
Oh my god, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I know it was weird. We'll try and maybe plan the next one a bit better. This was kind of off the cuff, so apologies for that. But anyway, if you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below if you agree, disagree, or have any other points, because we clearly didn't cover that much. If you want to, subscribe and check the notification bell if you want to see when we upload.
Right, end the video, and then we can talk about editing, and we can talk about the weekend and everything else. And also, I have to pee.
Okay.